is passed, and also in accordance with your comments that are being stated about the hip-hop culture in the beginning and so on and so forth, I don't hear you mentioning anybody from the Latino race or any of the contributions that the Latinos made, and I find it very disturbing. Can you explain why?
Two very good questions.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, let's just open it up to the panel. First of all, the idea on the female involvement, we're just at a loss. Keep in mind that this is a struggle as well as something, I mean, BET has embraced this, Tavis, we thank you greatly, but keep in mind that, you know, the people you see here today, Keith, myself, Z, so on, these are the first soldiers, these are the first people that are down with us. It's not necessarily our choice to be here all as men, but we're all friends, and we all came to actually discuss the week. Now, of course, hip-hop can't move forward without the mother concept, and this gives me a perfect opportunity to go into that. Yes. Let us reflect briefly, and the caller actually summed it up. We really don't have to go after that, but let us not forget that hip-hop was nurtured and created by the single mother and child. This is a mythology that goes back to the beginning of time. The Madonna and child always giving birth to new thought, new philosophy and culture and so on. Hip hop comes straight out of that tradition, the goddess and the child. And so we give mad respect to not only femininity, but also we raise femininity up to the level of God. Right. And question, why is God just a man? Hip-hop recognizes the single woman nurturing us and taking care of us.
Keith, Chris was basically talking in some regard about the changing nature of hip-hop, the changing demographic of the hip-hop audience. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm wondering whether or not you think, I loved your analogy earlier about the fact that hip-hop didn't change, but those outside of the community came to hip-hop as opposed to hip-hop going to them and changing itself. But I'm wondering whether or not you think that reality, that fundamental reality, dilutes what hip-hop is.
I think it's an opportunity, and to go right back to the caller mentioned what about the Latino community. There's an artist now, Big Pun, who for a long time was, bubbling under, did a lot of work on a lot of different things. People knew about him. He was on, different mixtapes, Tony Touch, all this different stuff like that. And here he comes right now, proudly representing the Latino community, but his work is just banging, And you have a lot of guys like that, guys like DMX, guys like Cannabis that do work underneath. Corrupt, who's on the line right now. He laid in the cut lovely for a long time, and when he dropped his joint, it was huge. So I think if you look at the examples of brothers that have done their thing, and sisters that, Lil' Kim, that, show up on these albums, they get their name out there, and, hip-hop probably has the best protege system in all of commercial entertainment,
Also with the Hispanic community and Latino community, you must also majorly give it up for Fat Joe.
No doubt.
Because he came in, man, and smashed the game, and he's the one that opened the doors for the Big Puns and the other artists situated like that, situated with the East Coast and all of that. You also got to remember Kid Frog. He came in with his version of Latino and Hispanic views from the California area. So it's been pushed in there. A gang of
that's where it's going.
They're doing their things, and we're all in one support. Hip hop, man, we're all one family, and it starts with one major character stepping up and putting his foot down, and that's why you must take your hat off to Chris, because Chris has been shouting this for years.
Candace in Toronto, I thank you for your phone call. As you can tell, you touched a nerve here on our show, and I'm glad you called in Canada. Omega in Maryland, I thank you for holding. You're on BET tonight.
Greetings to the panel. I would like to thank KRS-ONE for inviting my family, the Rites of Passage Collective, to his Temple of Hiphop show in early January, was it?
Yes.
You opened so many doors for us. A lot of people don't understand. Hip-hop is universal. It's not about Latino and black. It's a universal thing. Hurricane G is doing her thing. Thank you for paving the way, Professor. It's beautiful. I can see y'all, creating this week for us, because we're going to keep it live for all of y'all. I would like to know the curriculum right now. Is that, being built upon?
Good question.
Sure.
Just a little bit about it. We don't have enough time to get into all the details, but our curriculum deals with how to improve health, wealth, and self-awareness of all inner-city youth and general populations. But that's the main guide of our curriculum, and we're starting off with an archive and a research team prior to bringing students in. But by 1999, near the end of 1999, we intend to actually hold regular classes.
Maisha in Texas, I can give you about 15 or 20 seconds if you go to it right quick for me.
Yeah, I wanted to know how these brothers are referring to hip-hop as a culture, and I wanted to know what their perspective on the life-sustaining rituals of this culture, first of all. And secondly, also, one of the 4 functions of folklore says that folklore doesn't change anything. And I'm saying, I think that hip-hop is important, it's entertaining, it reflects our orality and our culture, but it doesn't really change anything. I want to hear the panel's thoughts on that.
I've got 1 minute left, and Chris, I want to give it to you to respond to that as quickly as you can and whatever else you want to put out there.
Sure. Well, in 1 minute, let me just say